Irene's cold but warming trip into technology-enhanced learning. This is Irene. Listen to her story as it unfolds in the faraway north. Once upon a time, there was a girl that was amused by education. She thought that through it, she held the keys to a world full of light and equality. She would give it oh so much thought, but for the moment, she dreamed. She had heard about some really smart and insightful people that had thought about how people learn and what would affect it positively. She dreamed about Skinner and his operative conditioning as a way to teach with on-the-go feedback based on results. How essential did this sound? She also dreamed about Vygotsky's socio-constructivist theory and how it introduced learning as a process of interaction between the person's own processing and contextual variables. How involving did this sound? She dreamed that perhaps all of this could be made together like into a cake. There could be some more added ingredients and it would become a grand recipe. Maybe by adding a bit of zone of proximal development, it could be possible to establish flow in learners, giving them just the right challenges according to their level. Sure, all of this did sound cute, but how much better would it sound if it were practiced with peers? Two possibilities came into her mind. Cooperative learning? There would be shared objectives for a particular task, but procedures to get them would be divergent. Nah, that did not sound too cool. There needed to be something else. So she thought, and what about collaborative learning? Establishing shared objectives and working together to achieve them through ascribing to consensus and socially accepted norms? That sounded much better. Suddenly, she woke up and thought,
I gotta put this all into action. Why not enhance it via technology?
She imagined what would people have to say about it. Of course, there would be some who would not deem it worthy, but it was up to her to tell them what it was truly all about. So she began. Remember, she was a sleepwalker. Irene left her house and headed toward the forest. Looking far ahead, she saw a very big tree full of yellowish flowers, and just under it, there were 3 children lying down. She approached them and she said,
Guys, I got some really sweet stuff I want to show you. Hear me out.
And the children, amused, accepted.
Okay. First,
she said,
let's consider the implication of introducing tech to a normal class-based context. What skills are expected from a teacher to make it work? It is just about sitting back and enjoying the magic? No, it cannot be so simple. There needs to be a solid articulation between the tools and the teacher's epistemological approach. Tech is not the solution by itself, but rather a potentially limitless means to a bigger end.
Okay,
said the child sitting closest to her.
And then there is also a real-time feedback as an innovative way to assess progress. Of course, the cool part here is that traditional roles can be shifted, having an expert in a field comment on a student's perspective, or perhaps even having the teacher become a learner at the side of the student. In matters of tech, many of us are still pupils, so why not work together for the common good? Likewise,
said another child.
It doesn't really matter where are you from, what language you speak, or how far apart you are. Tech eliminates all of these barriers and all attempt at simplifying access to a particular knowledge domains. Whoa!
And then the shyest of them all said, Of course, no one has to feel too scared for the implications of failing. Since tech introduces the possibility of developing creativity and modeling in a fail-safe context, everyone is welcome to try. Because, of course, learning comes often as a result of a strong motivation and sense of result. I am sure some call it engagement. And Irene went on.
Yeah! We just need to have a teacher or educational planner with imagination enough to go to the long way. A really strong instructional design has to be considered in order for the program to lead to actually meaningful learning. An appropriate teaching plan must contemplate not the tools per se, but in terms of their affordances. Not every pretty horse has to become a unicorn.
And then she sat down and grabbed a nearby pumpkin to scribble on it some ideas she had realized were powerfully embedded in her mind.
MOOCs for enabling distance learning and attaining objectives set by the student himself, being able to work at a pace that is widely personalized and participate in huge discussion borders. Sounds great!
And the first child added,
Seamless learning for keeping the flow of class even outside the classroom? Can you imagine the potential in sciences, for example? Sounds sleek.
Bring
it on! They yelled. We are ready to tackle whatever challenge comes our way. Our conviction and theoretical background allow us to feel safe enough.
It's sure gonna be a long trip. But that first step must always be taken. For now, let's just rest a bit more so ideas flow in me.
Irene concluded, and with that, she went back to sleep, eager to keep dreaming about it.
Wow,